Hi there. My name is Shannon McPhee, and I share Yoga Nidra guided meditation on my YouTube channel, Humble Warrior. And one of the tools we use in Yoga Nidra is something called a Sankalpa. It's a strange word and a little bit of an interesting concept. You might have never heard of it before, let alone Yoga Nidra, but it's a bit of a superpower. So let's find out what it is all about. If you want to put your Sankalpa into action after this video, you can visit my channel, Humble Warrior. HMBL is how humble is spelled on my channel, so you can drop the vowels and have a little less to type. But a Sankalpa starts out with some interesting history. It's actually something that comes from the teachings of ancient Hinduism. You don't need to be practicing that religion or any at all to be able to use a Sankalpa. And like most ancient languages, the word Sankalpa doesn't really have a direct, easy translation into English. It's a little bit of a different concept that layers a few different things together. So it means vow or resolve, but there are also other layers of meaning to this word. There is an element of determination that's required for something to be a Sankalpa and to have the power that it offers you. And there's also a need for your Sankalpa to be a resolve with determination that's also rooted in your desire to achieve it truthfully, respectfully, and with all of the good that you can muster in bringing this about. It's been said that our Sankalpa is actually a call to awakening. It's something that we deeply desire. So it's very powerful and very interesting to experience. The reason that it works so well is that our thoughts create our reality. If we're told that we're really not a good person or have a hard time achieving things or all of these other negative things that someone might have told us sometime, or maybe we just kind of came up with ourselves, our reality doesn't feel very good. But if we can tell ourselves that we're kind and we're helpful and we're intelligent and we're brave, all of these powers come to be manifested within ourselves, and we start to see the world that way. Our thoughts have so much power, and perhaps quite a bit more than we give them credit for. In fact, the way we think impacts our body chemistry. Different neurotransmitters and chemicals are created if we're thinking positively than if we're thinking negatively. So if we feel badly, there's a lot of truth to that running about in our bodies, and if we can start to create an environment that allows us to change the way we think, we are actually going to quite physically change the way we feel as well. So at the root of our Sankalpa is its power to transform a limiting belief into one of liberation, something that sets us free. And Yoga Nidra is specifically an excellent vehicle for bringing about this transformation because of the deep relaxation that comes to our minds and our bodies in Yoga Nidra practice. While we're running around awake and alert like we are right now, we have all these filters happening in our minds, and we kind of push away a lot of things. But when we relax in Nidra, we clear away a lot of the clutter and distraction that plague us in regular life, and we allow ourselves to really connect with the deep truth that we find within ourselves and within our Sankalpa. Our Sankalpa really unlocks our power and our truth within. It's more than an intention, it's more of a seed of transformation. So if you go to a yoga class and the teacher suggests that you set an intention for the day, maybe it's something like, I want to feel good, or I want to try a posture that's difficult for me, or I want to really stay focused on my breath. Those are all beautiful things, but our Sankalpa goes deeper than that and really brings a great power with it because of that depth. So when you're setting a Sankalpa in your Yoga Nidra practice, you should know that it is a positive statement in the present tense. And that means that it begins with the words, I am. We'll go through a whole bunch of examples, but it's also really important to remember that it's a positive statement. What we feed our minds grows. So if we're feeding our minds something negative that we want to overcome, like for example, I will not be late for work anymore, that's a negative statement. So if your Sankalpa is something like, I am on time, that's positive. So it's really important to take a moment to consider how you can transform your Sankalpa into a positive statement that you're using your energy to reinforce rather than feeding something that you'd rather leave behind. So let's look at some examples. If you're struggling a lot with injury or illness in your life, perhaps your Sankalpa might be, I am healing. If you feel unappreciated or challenged to see your own value and gifts, your Sankalpa might be something like, I am worthy, or I am valuable, or I am enough. If you're feeling trapped in your life for any reason at all, maybe your Sankalpa is something as simple as, I am free. If you feel lost in your life, maybe in a relationship, in your work, in school, any reason at all, a number of options are available to you. For example, I am learning, or I am moving forward. Perhaps even, I am on my path. If you have a lot of fear in your life for any reason, maybe your Sankalpa might be, I am powerful, or I am brave. If you have a lot of anxiety or anger or jealousy, these are all okay feelings to have. They exist for a reason, and you don't need to push that reason away. But your Sankalpa could possibly be something like, I am peaceful, I am calm, I am generous, or I am forgiving. If you feel kind of stuck in your life, maybe I am capable, or I am growing. If you feel a little lonely or isolated, maybe from family or loved ones, or maybe even yourself, perhaps a Sankalpa that might work for you would be something like, I am connected, or I am loved. Your Sankalpa can be deeply your own. It might be none of these. It might be something very different. But my husband asked me, well, what if my Sankalpa was that I wanted to win the lottery? And that's great. But I'd encourage you to look deeper than your surface desires to really figure out what would have the most power for you. So, for example, if you needed to win the lottery to feel safe in your life, maybe I am financially secure would be a great option. Or I am working hard to create wealth for myself and my family. Your Sankalpa can be a little longer than just one word. My teacher actually told me about someone who was writing a book, and their Sankalpa was, I am writing a chapter every day. So it really can be modified and customized for your unique situation. But if something that isn't really as deeply powerful as you might expect it to be pops up, just keep digging and figure out what is it that you really want and what's really at the root of those surface desires. When you go about trying to figure out your Sankalpa, it's really important to take a moment to feel it out. You might even have a few options that you think are possible, either suggestions that I just went through or different things that pop up when you practice Yoga Nidra. So just take a moment and weigh your options, literally. But instead of weighing them with a scale, see what you feel the most connected to. What words have the most power to offer you? Again, your Sankalpa can be completely unique to you. It might be completely different than all of the options that I just suggested, but if you begin it with the words I am, and it's a positive statement in the present, you'll be on the right track. So for example, if you really feel that you need a little bit more humility in your life, maybe something like I am dirt or I am salt has a special meaning to you that no one else can understand, and that's beautiful. And as long as it's positive and working towards something that you want to create in your life and you feel its power, you're on the right track. But do remember that lasting change takes time. So when you do find a Sankalpa that has a lot of power for you, hold on to it. It's probably going to take a while for you to really feel like you've come into what you wanted to create with your Sankalpa, for that change to take place in your life. So keep using the same one, and when you're cued to come to your Sankalpa and Nidra, while there'll often be a time where other people are given guidance on what they might consider for their Sankalpa, you can go right to your own and hold on to it and really connect deeply using that time to create some resonance within your body with those words of power and truth within you. So one of the really big factors that play with our Sankalpa is how they help us unlock something, our old behavior patterns in life. So there's another concept called a samskara in yoga, and a samskara are like the grooves on a record. They're all those old behavior patterns that we play out time and time again. And as we start to awaken, we start to see them happening, but they still tend to happen, and it can be really frustrating and annoying. Our Sankalpa helps us unlock those behavior patterns, and it helps us come to our new reality and start to make it happen in our lives instead of going back to what we want to leave behind. But just remember, keep feeding the positive. We don't have to beat ourselves up for slipping back or stepping back for a moment. The more we feed what we want to grow and move forward, the more we're going to find success, and the more quickly we're going to move in that direction. So stay positive, don't beat yourself up. Just remember your Sankalpa and the power it gives you. It'll start to manifest in your waking life as well as in your Nidra practice. So at rest, our minds and our hearts are the most open to creating lasting change. And that's one of the reasons that using a Sankalpa in Yoga Nidra is so powerful. We awaken to our most powerful truth within. We start to feel the joy of being ourselves within our own bodies. We don't have to be anyone else. We don't have to be any different than how we are now, because we begin to live the truth that's always within us. So if you'd like to put all of this into practice, I'd love to invite you to tune in with me and into yourself on my channel, Humble Warrior. And it would be fabulous to have you subscribe and learn more and connect more with all of us on my channel. If you're capable and interested, I also have a Patreon channel where you can become part of the community that supports this work. You can visit my channel at patreon.com/ShannonMcPhee. And I offer you my humble thanks for your curiosity and interest in learning more about the great power, strength, and wisdom within yourself. It's a gift for you to unlock, and it's a gift to all of us who get to share this earth with you. Thank you so much for doing this good work. Namaste.